14.
Now at 9, Cherokee County holds a public forum to discuss the future of harvesting sunshine. Plus, a plea agreement today in a Southeast Kansas murder case where a newlywed couple are both charged. And the Ronald McDonald House Charities celebrates 50 years as a global organization helping families in their time of need.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Cherokee County landowners gathered to discuss a proposed solar energy farm in the county. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. Solar energy has become a hot topic in Southeast Kansas, with residents in Bourbon County also at odds over the potential for solar farms in their backyard. Now, roughly 100 people filled the Columbus High School auditorium for tonight's public forum. The proposed solar farms would encompass more than 3,000 acres in Cherokee County. And Cherokee County Commissioner Lori Johnson says the targeted area begins near Southeast 10th and Clem Road and continues south and east to the Baxter, Oklahoma state line, along with some acreage on Southwest Boston Mills Road. Attendees tonight had a chance to ask questions and voice concerns. And at a previous meeting, commissioners issued a 1-year moratorium on solar so they could explore options that include regulations and potential zoning. Well, a guilty plea in a Southeast Kansas murder case. Clint Nybarger of Parsons, Kansas today pled guilty to amended charges in the shooting death last year of Dakota Patton. As part of the deal, the prosecutor is recommending Nybarger receive a sentence of a little more than 24 years in prison. 23-year-old Dakota Patton was reported missing in April of last year. His body was discovered in a field in Neosho County, Kansas, the following month. Now, according to court documents, Clint Nybarger was the last known person to see Patton alive, arguing with him at a gas station over a woman. And while Patton was missing, Clint Nybarger and Kimberly Thomas got married. They then traveled to Missouri for their honeymoon. And that's where police arrested them both. Authorities originally charged both of them with first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit murder. Kimberly is scheduled to appear in court for a hearing tomorrow. A federal judge today formally sentenced a Pineville, Missouri woman in connection with the murder of a pregnant woman in October of 2022. Amber Waterman will spend the rest of her life in prison without parole for kidnapping and killing a pregnant Arkansas woman and her victim's unborn child. Back in July, Waterman pleaded guilty to 1 count of kidnapping resulting in death and 1 count of thereby causing the death of a child in utero. On October 31st, 2022, Waterman had kidnapped and abducted Ashley Bush, driving her from Maysville, Arkansas to the Waterman residence in Pineville, Missouri. Later that day, first responders reported to an emergency call of a baby who was not breathing. Waterman claimed she had given birth to the child in the truck while on the way to the hospital. She later admitted the child was Bush's baby, who had died in utero. She also admitted kidnapping Bush in order to claim her unborn child. An autopsy indicated Bush died as a result of penetrating trauma of the torso, and her death was classified as a homicide. Well, Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty joins us now with a first look at weather.
Yeah, chilly outside for us today. We did go into lower 60s, but the winds made it feel so much colder than what it actually is. And we have freeze warnings, our first ones of the fall season for us tonight as temperatures. They're going to get down right 30 to about 33 degrees by morning. Clear skies, the winds will slowly diminish, but down to 30 in Lamar, Neosho, 29, Miami, down to 30 in Parsons. So it gets kind of cold across the region. For us tomorrow still, temperatures will be struggling to warm up, but we're going to get into lower 60s, so it's going to be a pretty decent day. But again, for tonight into tomorrow morning, if you do have any plants that can't take the cold, maybe like mums or something, you may want to bring them inside or cover them up just for tonight. We're going to look at the rest of the week here in just a bit.
And don't forget to bring your pets in as well. All right, thanks, Doug. Joplin's Ronald McDonald House Charities of the 4 states hosted a ribbon cutting in celebration of 50 years of global RMHC today. KOAM's Melissa Alexis was there for the celebration and has more.
Oh, it was a wonderful celebration.
The very first Ronald McDonald House opened in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in 1974
50 years ago.
Collaborating together, they were able to open that first house in Philadelphia, and 7 families moved in. And today, here at our house here in Joplin, we've served over 3,400 families.
Ronald McDonald House Charities of the 4 states in Joplin hosted a ribbon cutting to celebrate 50 years of Ronald McDonald House making a difference by providing meals and a place to stay for families who have a child receiving medical care at a nearby hospital.
You never plan on your child being in the hospital. If you're expecting a baby, you never plan on delivering early. And so when those unexpected events happen, it's nice to know that a few blocks away or across the street from a hospital that you can come and you're welcomed with open arms.
Many families that are sad, some happy, and it's just heartwarming to see that we're here to help these families that are under so much pressure.
They provide this service so the families can focus on their child's recovery.
Everything is provided for you. You don't have to worry about going out and getting food. You don't have to worry about cooking. You have a nice bed to sleep in, warm shower, and the love and care of all the volunteers that are here.
Ronald McDonald House in Joplin says they always welcome more volunteers that are willing to help. Reporting in Joplin, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
To celebrate the 50th anniversary, the Ronald McDonald House Charities of the 4 states encourages supporters to purchase a legacy brick to contribute to their fundraising efforts. The Greenbush Education Service Center in Girard, Kansas hosted a career exploration for students today. 8th and 10th grade students from 4 area school districts were able to participate in hands-on career exploration and real-world learning experiences.
This is going to be a learning curve for them. They're going to see that life is full of expenses, and more than anything, we want students to feel connected that the work they're doing in school does matter in their financial future.
Students also participated in career chats with local experts from diverse fields and learned about how their online presence leaves a lasting digital footprint. Well, coming up, we find out how the Carl Junction Marching Band is making strides in the competition field, and later, a campaign blitz.
With 3 weeks left until Election Day, Vice President Harris and former President Trump are making appeals to voters in the coveted swing states. I'm Connor Hansen with the details on their outreach coming up.
It's the thrill of the hunt. Rifle and
compassionate, affordable care.
The Carl Junction Band is performing well this season with several top scorers ranging from best performance to best color guard. KOAM's Lonnie Walton takes us to Carl Junction for a closer look at their work and newfound success.
Action from the kids at the Valhalla Marching Festival was insane. There was so much screaming. At one point they were all circled around me and singing and chanting, and I literally had my ears plugged at one point in time.
Trey Wydell is the band director at Carl Junction High School. Although it's his first year as band director, it's also the band's first year of winning certain competitions.
We've had some recent successes this year. We've gone to 2 marching festivals, and we've walked away being the #1 band that have come out of both of those.
Mr. Wydell says the main ingredients to achieve this success is work, and you guessed it, work.
If you look at their faces right after they get done with the full run of the show, like they're huffing and puffing, because not only are they running across the field or marching across the field, but they're we're asking them to play music on top of that.
Color Guard member Evan Davis says band is hard work, but music is his life.
Everything means a lot. I just can't imagine myself without it.
When Mr. Wydell is unsure, he says he looks to his predecessor for advice.
I was fortunate enough to work with Scott Schneider that was here before me for 10 years. He mentored me from the first day that I started here. It was always, hey, you can do these things better.
And for Evan Davis, he left us with a few kind words of wisdom when it comes to being in the band.
Dress well. Don't mess it up, because if you die of heat stroke, you're not in the show anymore.
Reporting in Carl Junction, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
Well, if you want to see the band in action, they're scheduled to perform this Saturday at the Maple Leaf Festival in Carthage. Doug is next with a complete look at your forecast, and later, New Heights Volleyball hosts Diamond, and John Dales has highlights and much more in sports.
Join the KOAM Roadshow at the Carthage Maple Leaf Festival this Friday.
And Spiva Center for the Arts.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a cooler day for us today. Also very windy across the region, so it made it feel even colder than what it actually is. It's pretty brisk out there right now. Great shot of our Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex tower cam. We are looking downtown Joplin. All right, temperatures yesterday, we cooled off. Upper 60s, went into lower 40s during the morning hours, and then only up into lower 60s for highs during the afternoon hours. And freeze warning in effect for us tonight, mainly for plants, so cover them up or bring them inside, as temperatures are going to be dipping right around that 32-degree mark by the time you wake up tomorrow morning. Short period, only about 3 hours, but you can see across the board, upper 20s to lower 30s across the region. 29 Nevada, Joplin 33, 32 in Anderson, 33 in Rogers, 29 Independence, Veneta, and down to about 30 degrees. If we look outside right now, we are dropping back. It's mid 40s, kind of chilly. We've had northeasterly winds kicking in all day long. These are slowly diminishing, but still we have northeasterly winds at about 10 miles per hour, making it feel a little bit colder. Now the winds are going to diminish tonight into tomorrow morning, fairly light tomorrow. And then once we get into Sunday, they switch around now to the south and start to pick up again. And that's going to give us a slow warming trend as we work toward the weekend. Nothing going on though. Clear skies. We definitely need some rain across the region, but the entire Central Plains, very quiet. We have these upper level winds right out of Canada. So that is what has given us those cooler temperatures. And as this storm system spreads east throughout the week, high pressure works in. What will high pressure do for us? It will keep us dry, and it will give us that slow warming trend. Then we'll focus our attention out toward the west. That will be our next storm system, which will slowly meander its way toward us by the time we head into the second half of the weekend and then into early next week, giving us at least some rain chances. And this is really the first storm system that I've really seen in our new pattern. So we're going to be in this pattern by the time, or we'll be in this pattern for the next year. So this is giving me kind of an idea of what we're going to be experiencing. All right, let me walk you through time. Of course, cold start, near freezing by noon, light easterly wind, mid 50s. Once we get into the afternoon, I think most of us 63, 64 degrees. Tomorrow night, clear skies, temperatures cold, but not as cold. We drop back into the upper 30s, and then Thursday we should start to press 70 during the afternoon, so we'll start to warm back up. 56 by noon, high temp, 63 degrees. Let's go 70 Thursday, 75 Friday, near 80 as we head into the weekend, but all week long, fantastic fall-like week.
Yeah, I'm going to enjoy the weather this week and then wish it was cooler next week.
Yeah, there you go.
Eventually it'll be fall or just go straight into winter.
It's fall.
Yeah. All right, thanks, Doug. Well, coming up, insurance woes.
2 hurricanes in 13 days, the damage running into the billions. But what about homeowners insurance? It's a big story in Florida. I'll have the very latest right after the break.
Get your tickets at PCT's production of A Few on Fox.
Recovery efforts underway in Florida as more than 400,000 people are still without power after Hurricane Milton. Fox Business correspondent Ashley Webster is in Tampa, where lack of adequate insurance is becoming a big problem.
Pretty much everywhere you look in Tampa, Florida, the residential streets look like this. Trees are down, furniture strewn on the front lawn, chairs, sofas, chest of drawers, all the victims of a 4-foot storm surge from Hurricane Helene. Hurricane Milton just added insult to injury. Of the 80th most riskiest zip codes in the country, the insurance industry say 78 of the 80 are actually in Florida, which makes, of course, insurance coverage expensive here already. In fact, the average for Florida home insurance is $5,527 per year. That compares to a national average of $2,285. So the question is there enough insurance to cover all the damage? Well, the answer to that simply is no. It helps. In fact, I spoke to one lady in the neighborhood here who's been here for 22 years, and she said, "That's it. I've had enough. I'm moving out."
It's time for me to go, yes, because otherwise I'd have to elevate my home. This is expensive construction. I'm ready to leave.
But for those who stay, the fear is that more insurance companies will up stakes and cut their losses, meaning insurance will be harder to find and a lot more expensive. In Tampa, Florida, Ashley Webster, Fox Business Network.
Well, the cost to insure your home has skyrocketed, and those rates are expected to keep rising, especially in places where severe weather is more likely. But even before Milton and Helene caused massive property damage in Florida, home insurance premiums were up more than 50% in that state. CBS News business.
Oh, nowhere else but Roper Honda. The best deals for the best used cars are only at Roper Honda.
You're watching the 4 states' most watched news.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. There are just 21 days until the November 5th election. Allen County voters will be asked to vote on whether to approve a sales tax increase, with funds going to support emergency services. KOAM's Samantha Walker went to Allen County to learn how the tax increase would impact residents.
Allen County voters are being asked whether they should approve a half-cent sales tax increase. The Allen County Commission estimates the increase would generate $1.2 million a year, with funds going to support EMS services in the county. Commissioners say the increase would help them pay their contract for the ambulance provider, which is expected to be $2.2 million this coming year. They add that increasing the sales tax would allow them to lower property taxes in the county.
It's not a new tax. It's a shifting of tax. It's doing nothing more than taking it off property tax and putting it on a sales tax.
The county hopes to capitalize on state plans to develop a lake area outside of Iola they hope to use to draw in tourists. Lee says the tourism, in addition to the end of Kansas's food tax, makes now the best time to approve a sales tax increase.
The beauty about the sales tax is that not only do folks that live in Allen County pay for it, but anybody that comes into Allen County and buys services and goods gets to help pay for that.
But the tax increase proposal is drawing concern from some residents. Myra Gleason says she understands wanting to support EMS services, but as a small business owner, she fears how the tax might impact her community. She says while lowering property taxes might really help some people, increasing sales tax might force people to not shop as much locally.
They will see it in their everyday goods and purchases. And if we don't have people coming in anymore because they need that cucumber, they need to make that salad, they need to go grocery shopping, they need to go get Folgers over specialty coffee, it'll hurt us.
Gleason says that the EMS service is being sustained already. She believes that if there were to be a sales tax increase, it should go towards a project that would encourage economic development in the area. She also fears that if the sales tax is passed, property taxes could still raise in the future.
If the sales tax does not cover what the property taxes cover now, guess what? It comes out of property taxes. So they still have to tax your property taxes. We don't know if tourism is going to pick up. In terms of it making a huge difference, of any guarantees, there are none. And so what that happens is it leaves the burden on the people who live here.
Lee says while unlikely, future circumstances may require further increases. For now, he says the county hopes to keep property taxes lowered if the sales tax increase is approved. Reporting in Allen County, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
Commissioner Lee says he will be at the bandstand at the Iola Square on Thursday to address residents' concerns and answer any questions they may have about the sales tax vote. Well, a couple of candidates running for state office stopped in Southwest Missouri today. Missouri State Treasurer Vivek Malik, candidate for Secretary of State Denny Hoskins, and candidate for Lieutenant Governor Dave Wassinger visited the Jasper County Republican headquarters to try and drum up support for Amendment 7. Now, Amendment 7 is the only citizens vote and only vote once amendment.
We are not against illegal immigration. We want people to come to the United States, find their own American dream, become prosperous, and live a happy life. All we ask is that you come into this country legally, and if you have come into this country legally and you are a non-citizen, we just ask that you complete the process, become a citizen so that you can vote and participate in the process.
For more information on Amendment 7 and other election topics that you may see on the ballot, go to KOAMnewsnow.com/elections. Well, the countdown to Election Day continues, with both presidential candidates reaching out to groups they see as crucial to victory. Fox News correspondent Connor Hansen has more from New York.
Both Vice President Harris and former President Trump are continuing their swing state blitz. Recent polling shows Harris isn't winning over as many black voters, especially men, and she's reaching out to them now.
Black men are no different from anybody else. They expect that you have to earn their vote.
The VP is visiting Detroit to lay out an economic plan to specifically help black men. Tuesday, Trump sat for an interview with Bloomberg News at the Economic Club of Chicago and faced tough questions about tariffs and foreign policy.
We're going to bring the companies back. We're going to lower taxes still further for companies that are going to make their product in the USA. We're going to protect those companies with strong tariffs.
Donald Trump, go away!
Outside the event, a pro-Palestinian group protested Trump, but also signaled potential trouble for Democrats.
If the Democrats lose, it is totally of their own volition. Every step of the way, they've had an opportunity to turn around. And because of this, because they refuse to change pace on Gaza.
And as the crucial swing state of Georgia begins early voting, a judge has ruled that state election officials must certify the vote count no matter what. But either campaign could still sue if they suspect fraud. On Wednesday, both candidates will appear on Fox News. Trump courts women voters at an all-female town hall with Harris Faulkner, while the vice president will sit down with Bret Baier for a formal interview. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
Well, coming up, Doug returns with a complete look at our chilly forecast, and later, a fluffy return.
Pandas are back in the nation's capital. I'm Rebecca Castor with reaction to this unexpected symbol of friendship from China, coming up.
For generations, hardworking people have relied on.
I'm voting yes on Amendment 3 because no woman facing pregnancy complications should ever be denied care.
Tonight's weather camera footage of downtown Joplin sits atop the Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex, home of Connect to Culture and Spiva Center for the Arts.
Well, of course, kind of a chilly day for us today, especially with the winds. We had winds gusting 25 to 30 at times, and when it's kind of crisp out there, it makes it feel even colder than what it actually is. Great shot, Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex, of course, downtown Joplin. Temperatures, you got to remember, late last week, we were into the 90s, setting record highs. Upper 60s yesterday, lower 60s for us today. Over to freeze warnings in effect late tonight into the morning hours as temperatures get right around that freezing mark. As we drop back over the next several hours, we could even see some upper 20s from Stockton, 30 in Mount Vernon, Grand Lake into the upper 20s, Chanute, much of the same. So kind of cold for us tonight. Dropping back now, 45 in Nevada, Monette, 50 in Jay, 50 as well in Chanute. We've had these kind of northeasterly winds. These are slowly calming down, but still we have northeasterly winds at about 5 to 10. They're going to stay light tonight, stay light through tomorrow. And then once we get into Thursday, they switch out of the south, start to get a little bit cranking once again. That's going to give us a warming trend as we go through the rest of the week. All right, clear skies, nothing going on here. In fact, the entire Central Plains really looking pretty good. We just have that colder air which is ushered right out of Canada. And we want to watch this system because we are in our new cycling weather pattern for the next year, and this will be a recurring setup as we go into the winter. So this is going to give us probably 2 or 3 times. It's going to give us those wonderful Arctic blasts that we always hate in the winter months. High pressure this week, nice weather, and then we're going to focus on our next storm system, which will at least give us some chances for rain as we head into early next week. All right, cold start, clear skies, 30 to about 32. By noon, into the mid-50s. Once we get into the afternoon, most of us 63 or 64 degrees. Tomorrow night, it's still cold, just not as cold. Upper 30s to near 40. Then as we go through the daytime hours on Thursday, most of us upper 60s to near 70. So we start that warming trend as we go through the rest of the week. 34 in the morning, 56 by noon. High temp, right around 63 degrees. Let's take a look at the weekend. Friday looks great. Look at this. Mid 70s. As we get into Saturday, upper 70s. We'll hold into the upper 70s again as we go into Sunday, but you can see the rain kind of lingering off toward the west, trying to work in here Sunday night into Monday morning, which of course we greatly need. 63 tomorrow. Let's go 70 on Thursday, 75 on Friday, and then near 80 as we head into the weekend. Some chances for rain Monday and then again Wednesday. It's nice to see a few drops because we really need the rain.
Yeah, we definitely need the rain. I can't remember the last time it rained.
I know.
All right, thanks, Doug. Well, as Doug said, with the potential for freeze, now is the time for gardeners to take steps to protect their plants. Now, most plants can withstand temperatures down to 28 degrees without significant damage, except for sensitive tropical varieties. But they can suffer a chill injury at temperatures well above freezing, so it's best to bring them indoors in early fall when possible. To protect plants from frost, use insulating materials to cover them up.
Cover it with a cotton sheet, not plastic, and if anything's tender, pick your green beans, pick your peppers, pick your tomatoes, and get them on inside, because if it gets 29 or below, it'll sure turn them to mush.
According to the National Weather Service, the average first autumn freeze of the year occurs on October 17th in our area, so we're close. Earliest on record was on September 23rd, and that was in 1995. Well, coming up in sports, a blockbuster trade in the NFL, plus highlights from tonight's volleyball match between New Heights and Diamond. John Dales has those stories and more up next.
To give them a free ride. Join us at 7 a.m.
We're coming down the stretch of the regular season for high school volleyball in the state of Missouri. District tournaments get started as soon as next week, and tonight 2 of our local teams go head-to-head in Joplin. New Heights libero Lily Plassman gets honored before tonight's game for getting over 1,000 career digs, and it's just her junior year. Lady Cougars host Diamond, who's trying to earn its 20th win of the season. First set, there's another dig for Plassman. She keeps it alive, and her teammate Lydia Hipple rises up for the block. Cougars score the first 2 points of the night, and they have the early lead. Later on in the first, Cabry Parmley gets a block of her own. Diamond wins that point and wins the first set, 25-19. Now to the second, Wildcats keep it rolling. Aubrey Ball sets up Callie Thomas. She spikes it home and gets the kill. A couple of minutes later, ball to Lauren Turner, who goes softly over the top. That's another kill. Diamond wins by sweep. Lady Wildcats take care of New Heights 3-0 on the road. Well, we're into the back half of the college football season here in the 4 states. That means week 7 of the Division II coaches poll. Pittsburgh State holds firm at number 7 in the country. This comes after the Gorillas beat Nebraska Kearney by 10 points on Saturday. They have just one ranked opponent on their schedule for the rest of the regular season. That's numbers 11 Central Oklahoma, who's undefeated. PSU plays the Broncos on the road in a couple of weeks. This Saturday, though, the Gorillas host Fort Hays State, who's 5-2, receiving votes but unranked, and that's the second to last home game of the year for Pitt State. As football season hits its stride, college basketball keeps getting closer and closer. Yesterday, we got a look at the preseason top 25 for men's college hoops. Today, the women's preseason poll gets released. Not much of a surprise who's at the top. That's defending national champion South Carolina, who sits at the number 1 spot in the nation with 27 of the 30 first place votes. Right behind the Gamecocks are UConn and USC. The Lady Sooners of Oklahoma are ranked 10th 10th, and in their first year in a new conference, they're one of 4 SEC teams inside the top 10. Kansas State, not too far behind them. They're over at 13. To pro football, some big news earlier this morning. 3-time All-Pro wide receiver Davante Adams will be reunited with his former Green Bay Packer teammate Aaron Rodgers in New York. Adams requested a trade a couple of weeks ago. Today, the Raiders grant that request. Vegas receives a conditional 3rd-round draft pick in return. Adams comes to New York just a week after the Jets fired their head coach and a day after they fell to 2-4 with a loss to the Bills. And over to Major League Baseball, Game 2 of the American League Championship Series takes place tonight at Yankee Stadium. And presumptive MVP candidate Aaron Judge hits his first home run of the postseason in the bottom of the 7th inning. That brings the score to where it is now. It's a 6-2 Yankees lead in the 8th. That's it for sports. We're back with more news after this.
Panda diplomacy is back in the nation's capital. A pair of giant pandas have officially arrived in Washington, D.C. It's a rare, bright spot after years of poor relations between China and the United States. Fox News correspondent Rebecca Castor explains.
After a long journey from China to the U.S., 2 3-year-old pandas, Bao Li and Qing Bao, are settling into their new home at the Smithsonian National Zoo in Washington, D.C.
Who doesn't love a panda? I mean, there were people crying when they left.
The new furry diplomats arrived Tuesday morning on a FedEx cargo plane dubbed the Panda Express. They'll live at the zoo for the next 10 years, during which the U.S. will pay China $1 million a year for conservation efforts.
We believe that the new round of China-U.S. giant panda conservation cooperation will achieve more results based on the original good cooperation and make new contributions to global biodiversity conservation and the enhancement of friendship between the Chinese and American peoples.
DC's panda exhibit has been empty for nearly a year after the zoo's previous pandas and their cub returned to China. With relations between the U.S. and China souring over the last few years, zookeepers, politicians, and the public were unsure whether the prized bears would ever return.
Maybe that's our only communication now with China, so maybe it's a good thing that it's happening. I'm actually a little surprised.
It will still be some time before visitors can see the pandas. They have to quarantine for at least 30 days before zookeepers decide when they're ready for their public debut. From the National Zoo in Washington, D.C., Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
Well, Hugh Jackman and Kate Hudson are set to star in a musical drama about a Neil Diamond tribute band. That and more are coming up in Hollywood Nation. A spy thriller's first look in a sci-fi series returns. Fox's Ashley Dvorkin has a look at these stories and more in the Hollywood Nation.
A hero to the silo!
A sci-fi season 2, Kira's spy thriller, and Hugh and Kate get musical in today's Hollywood Nation. Hugh Jackman and Kate Hudson will star in Craig Brewer's upcoming musical drama, Song Sung Blue. Focus Features shared a little about the Sweet Caroline plot, based on a true story and the 2008 documentary of the same name. The film follows 2 down-on-their-luck musicians who form a Neil Diamond tribute band, proving it's never too late to find love and follow your dreams.
I'm looking to hire someone.
In today's first looks are images for the upcoming Netflix action spy thriller Black Doves, starring Keira Knightley and Ben Whishaw. Set in London at Christmas, Knightley plays a wife, mother, and professional spy set off on a mission with an old friend to investigate who killed her secret lover, leading them to uncover a vast conspiracy as they do. The series premieres December 5th, and the streamer has already confirmed a season 2.
What if everything you know to be true
was just one big lie.
Plus, Apple TV Plus revealed the trailer for the second season of Silo, starring and executive produced by Rebecca Ferguson. The dystopian drama is about the last 10,000 people on Earth in a mile-deep home protecting them from the unsafe world outside, with some raising the dangerous questions of when or why the silo was built. Tim Robbins and Common co-star. The mystery continues with a 10-episode season starting November 15th. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
And that is our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We'll leave you with video of a 6-week-old panda cub at the Berlin Zoo. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow.